Every influencer or YouTuber who told you that Ethereum is finished, said that it's a Bitcoin only cycle, said that Solana has killed Ethereum, ETH is dead tech, and so on, make a note of them. I've been telling all you guys that ETH's time will come. It's when, not if. Especially when Ethereum seems down and out, we had been doing our own objective analysis on this channel. We saw the ETF inflows, the comments from BlackRock and other asset managers, the impending stablecoin adoption, the growing network usage. The same information was in front of everyone, we just used it differently here. I publicly started buying Ethereum in February as it began its capitulation, DCA'd every day, loaded up at the bottom around 1.5k, and you can see the results now. Yeah, we need a little bit of patience, but come on, investing and making a lot of money isn't supposed to be ridiculously easy. Quick break to ask, why are you not part of the best free community in crypto? Join over 1,000 people determined to make money and help each other out. Sign up to the email newsletter too, it's all free, you've got no excuse, link down below. What's up guys, I hope you're doing fantastically well. Market update video today to address what's been going on and where we are potentially headed as we move towards the final 4 months of the year. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, the fundamentals, the macroeconomic factors influencing our decisions. We'll take a deeper look at Ethereum and its implications, and we'll touch on the broader altcoin market too. As always, whilst I am a financial advisor in real life, none of this is financial advice. Bitcoin is closing the week strong at a price of just under 119k, and it has been showing very nice strength in this 114 to 120k range. Decent consolidation here at a very high level, down only 3% from its all-time high. But it really doesn't feel like it given the sentiment we have in the markets right now. It's not quite as bad as in, Q1, Q2 this year with the April tariff drama and overall panic. But I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I'd expect a lot more attention, volume, speculation from both experienced investors and retail. I mean, Bitcoin is $119,000, but this is actually a good thing. It just makes you wonder what will be trading out once these conditions and the ones I just mentioned start to rise. We did see some downward price action due to external macro factors like Trump fucking around with the tariffs again. I was watching the charts and 110k is a key level. It's a breakout of the previous range and a potential new higher low as well. We did well to hold above it. Of course, this is crypto and things can change in a day. If we drop below this level, then short term it could look pretty bleak. But for now, it's all good. As for the rest of August, in my last video, I did say I expect August to be a good month for crypto, contrary to popular belief and previous data. To be honest, I was mainly talking about Ethereum, not Bitcoin. However, I do stand by this. I reckon Bitcoin will either remain within this range or make a measured move upwards towards its previous high in the next few weeks. But it may be wise to take some profits towards the end of the month if required. We'll get on to why I expect there to be a pullback in the market shortly, but yeah, for now, looking decent, nothing to be concerned about. If you're new here, we aren't perma-bulls or perma-bears within this community, just pure, authentic, objective analysis. We have indicators and metrics to use to decide whether the cycle is over, whether the top is in or not. One of them being the 50-week moving average, which you can see has come close to being invalidated a couple times this cycle, but we survived. Looking good on this front. Overall, the structure also looks good, making consistent higher highs and higher lows. I don't really get involved with the Bitcoin number predictions. I think it's kind of dangerous to be fixated solely on a number. Of course, I do like the speculation though. My target for the last few years has always been the 125k to 150k range. We're looking on track to settle within that range nicely, but a caveat, with the strategic reserve, with Trump, nation states, etc. all getting involved, in the right global and macro conditions, Bitcoin could very well smash well past this range. It's pretty much anyone's guess. Been seeing a little bit of blood in the ETFs, including the second largest daily outflows. This is natural and to be expected. Nothing just goes up in a straight line. Remember, we have been doing very well lately. Investors are going to be locking in profits and selling, hence the increased outflows. Not concerning to me at all, especially given the huge amounts of green inflows we're so used to seeing this cycle, having huge days. Not sure how this will look over the next month, but for Q4, I do expect to see a lot more inflows once again. Looking at the fear and greed index, we're sitting in neutral, a steep come down from the greed level we were seeing in recent weeks. Yet we're at 119k Bitcoin and 4.2k Ethereum. That little pullback really sent us down fast. Let me explain this simply. The market is not greedy yet, and we're at these high levels. What do you think will happen when we move into the extreme greed territories again? prices could easily be, 150k for Bitcoin, 7k for Ethereum, altcoins could be flying. Yes, this indicator in isolation isn't the best. I don't think there is one single indicator which we can use solely on its own, but in conjunction with others, it really helps paint a picture. So one of the reasons we had a pullback after a nice few weeks of green was of course Trump fucking around with further tariffs. Southeast Asia was hit, Canada was hit, and I think as of lately India has been hit pretty hard, and he may have implied more on the way. I'm really struggling to keep up now. Not ideal, but this was also a natural healthy correction. Investors are going to take profits, especially after so much green so quickly. As always, we are at the mercy of this guy, as shown since he's come into power. He's moving the markets with his economic policies, so just please, for the remainder of this year, chill out, Trump, man. We know he wants rate cuts, which he hasn't been getting, so the sooner we satisfy him, the better. Some other notable developments include Trump opening up 401k investments in the US to crypto assets. If you're in the UK, this is the equivalent of being able to hold crypto within your pensions, which is just massive. Of course, extremely bullish over the long term. Whether it will have any immediate impact over the short term, I'm not so sure, but it's still nice to see. And we still have massive institutes investing into Bitcoin. Harvard invested $116 million into the Bitcoin ETF, even at today's prices. You would have liked to think with all these smart-brained people at this university that they would have been investing into Bitcoin a lot sooner. Maybe they did and they just kept it under wraps, but regardless, better late than never. So the Fed didn't cut the interest rates in July. We had unemployment data also coming in stronger than expectations, as well as inflation seemingly creeping up. This implies that the Fed may need to act soon in terms of cutting the rates. And rightfully so, we're seeing pretty much a guaranteed interest rate cut in September, about 89% likely. This is good, finally, long overdue. But please be aware that the markets are likely to price this in soon before the official announcement. It wouldn't surprise me if we rise towards the end of August, maybe early September, and then suffer a short pullback following the official announcement before climbing again in Q4. What would be really nice is if we get a steep cut, say 50 bips as opposed to the expected 25 bips. Whilst not essential, it could in theory make up for lost time. But in any case, it's the first cut which is the most important. It signals to investors that we're ready to go risk on again, and that was the catalyst for us to end Q4 of 2024 so well. So I do expect similar results this time around. As you all know, we have been monitoring global liquidity a lot this year. Some of you have been asking me which one I use. I use this one as it includes not just M2, but the balance sheets from major banks all around the world. This one also allows me to offset the chart by 75 days to better align with Bitcoin. This indicator has now seemingly entered somewhat of a downtrend, which is obviously not good. Let's hope we're seeing a recovery here and this was nothing else but a blip. I know people hate on this tool, but for me, it's literally just speaking on how much liquidity is available to be potentially invested, and you cannot deny the clear relationship here. Let's hope this is nothing but a small pullback. However, if it is serious, it's not worth ignoring and profits may need to be taken accordingly. The dollar is in this sideways period after a continued downtrend this whole year. Not bad to cool off. This would be due to the economic data we're seeing, instability and lack of strategy change within the Fed. However, with the first cut expected in September, I do expect us to continue this dollar downtrend as investors switch to a more risk-on approach and target risk assets ahead of the fiat currency's safe haven. Moving on to Ethereum, we have been making big moves here. Finally, we managed to push up, break past, and hopefully close above 4K for the first time this cycle. We've tried it thrice before in March, May, and December 2024, but didn't quite have the momentum to push through. However, fourth time has seemingly been the charm for Ethereum. If you all recall in my last video, I did say I expect ETH to make a push for 4K in the next couple weeks, as that's the next key level, and it's played out perfectly. Sentiment is strong, the charts are strong, fundamentals are looking good, so naturally we'll keep it simple with the analysis. The next target is to break all-time high. We have strong momentum behind us, we have upcoming rate cuts as well, so I do expect this to occur at some point in the next couple weeks. It would be long overdue, and hopefully Ethereum can go into a price discovery rally, kind of like Bitcoin does when it breaks its high, see November 2024. Another point to mention is we are up around 3x from the low, so profit taking is to be expected. It could cause some short-term retraces after this rally. Preferably, I prefer us not to fall below 4K now that we're above it, but yeah, something to be aware of. Price predictions are similar to Bitcoin. I don't have a concrete one. 6 to 7K I thought was realistic and attainable, and we do seem on track for it. 10k is the magic round number so many are predicting, but I don't really see how that's realistically possible. It's essentially doubling Ethereum's market cap, which won't be that easy to shift. Hopefully though, let's wait and see. The ETH ETFs have actually seen more days of positive inflows recently compared to Bitcoin. This could imply that investors are switching to the higher return asset. I remember speculating this months back, saying we could see a switch as investors began to view Ethereum as the asset which would provide better returns than Bitcoin until the end of the cycle. Hopefully this pivot is occurring. We did have the largest day of outflows ever at $500 million leaving the ETFs, but that was around a week ago at a price of 3.5k per ETH. We're up 20% since, so yeah, not the best move from these panic sellers. The unofficial indicator for alt season ETH BTC continues to impress as well. Currently we're around late December, early January levels, which still isn't good, a long way to go, but we have reclaimed the 50-week moving average, which is great, and the next target naturally to claim will be the 100-week moving average. Let's see how soon before we are above this trend line. The big Ethereum whales have continued to accumulate in recent weeks on top of their existing positions. It's very bullish to see. They must either know what's coming or at least be very optimistic for the future. We're also seeing the headlines for stupid price predictions come out. I struggle to fathom 10k per ETH, let alone 20k. This can be seen in two different ways. First, obviously it's good for retail investors to see this. It gets them excited, brings more money to the markets. But also, this kind of stuff can be a top signal too. Put it like this, I was buying Ethereum when the headlines were saying it will drop below 1k. I'm not going to buy Ethereum when they're telling me it's going to 20k. To conclude, what about your altcoins? What about alt season? I haven't given up on my thesis that the major pump will come in Q4. We are still following the trend. Bitcoin has pumped, Ethereum is next. The ETH BTC chart is looking decent. Bitcoin dominance is also poised to continue dropping. It's a slow process once you're inside and checking the charts every day, but this has been what's occurred in previous cycles. The technicals aren't great. Altcoins have been bleeding against Ethereum for a long time, pretty much since April, and it certainly feels that way. But if we are going to follow similar rotations as so in the past, the liquidity will trickle down soon, especially with expected rate cuts, increased sentiment, etc. However, remember, not like the alt seasons of the past. Only the strongest projects will bring the incredible returns. The BitTensors, the Cubics, the NU1 protocols. We are constantly finding and sharing the best altcoins in this community, on Discord, on YouTube, on X, and I do think the ones that we're holding as a community are absolutely top. But it's patience. I hope you haven't been shaken out in recent weeks and months. The best is certainly yet to come. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. Feel free to join the Discord and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.